humbled, contrite heart you will not spurn. The word contrite comes from con, cum, together, harsh, all in one, and tritus, which is the participle of to rub, to crush. Contrite is the one who is broken. The humble is the one who is close to the humus, the earth, and the earth is easily trodden upon. But humility is not a groveling, it is truth, our truth. And Lent is a moment of truth. Remember, O man, that you are dust, and to dust you will return. Giving the ashes to many people on Ash Wednesday, the whole pageant of human life in its beauty, splendour and tragedy passes between one's fingers, small and great and all in between, dust. One time in the monastery in France, one of my brethren came out with this: Les cimetières sont pleins de gens qui se pensaient indispensables. Cemeteries are full of people who thought themselves indispensable. Death is the great equalizer. Dust unto dust, ashes unto ashes. In Italy we had a lot of funerals to handle, and it was always a question mark. Where has the occupant of this envelope gone? For at the moment of death, one is aware that at that point one has but an envelope, and the journey has commenced. On that journey then, for 6 weeks, we reflect. For Lent, well lived is the paying up of our insurance policy, ready to go to our Easter. And if, by the way, we don't benefit from it, we are playing the game precisely of the one who wants us harm. And if one compares the way that in some cultures and countries and situations Lent practically does not exist, one wonders why, for instance, in the Islamic bloc, they are more faithful to what they have, which is far less than we have, than we are to our own. Therefore, in a sense, Lent ought to make us reflect also on why we are here and for how long. In that context, for a few seconds, I want to put before your eyes 3 cases. I'll start with the top. This I picked up just a few minutes ago from the corridor. A friend, in inverted commas, our Charbel MacClough, one of the greatest saints, though hidden, of modern times. And the proof is that to this day, from his body is oozing a miraculous oil which still performs powerful miracles. He was a monk in union with the Holy Father, of course, but of another rite, Maronite, and therefore the habit and the beard that goes with it. After a certain number of years in the cenobium, the monastery, a common life, and after ordination, of course, he obtained permission to live as a hermit, which is quite in order if the superior allows, and up he went to a very cold hermitage where he lived until he died in quite severe conditions, with only the consolation of what came from his priesthood, the Blessed Sacrament, who for him then became truly, truly there as a companion of emptiness. Therefore, when it came to his Easter, one can but presume that he went as a rocket to meet the one he'd given all for. As the Curé Vaz once said, il est beau de mourir quand on a vécu sur la croix. It is beautiful to die when one has lived on the cross. So we leave Charbel there, heading for the stratosphere of glory. The second case, it's just something which is going on right now, so we can't judge, but we can just reflect on the present stage of the drama. It hit me because somebody came and reported on it yesterday, because I have a lot to do with the travelling community and they come for blessings, sometimes out of the blue. So this good man came in and had a good bless up, and off he went with himself quite content. But in the meantime, I asked what the story was with so-and-so, because after a while one gets to know the situation in the travelling community, but also with cousins anyway. And this was quite interesting, because on the grapevine he was very well informed, because a few weeks ago, or by now months I suppose, I'd had in my hermitage the 3 children of a lady who had been clobbered to death by one of theirs. And so I was wondering how a man was, and apparently he was right now serving what had been a suspended sentence, but which came into activity straight away because of his new blunder, so that he is already incarcerated. But the judgment for this new surprise has not yet happened, so my friend there just quietly and calmly, in full possession of himself, said, life imprisonment, or that effect. In other words, and he added this, which was quite actually well put, coming from the simple culture of the travelling community, what a waste of a life. So in that simplicity they do have certain lights. Maybe they'll get there more quickly than the settled community because of those lights. But anyway, why am I saying this? Waste of a life. We only have one life. And quite a few people actually do end up spending years and years and years and years more where they don't really want to be. Or sometimes because of one blunder. Now, that brings me to the third. All because of one blunder. Spending time where they don't want to be. This too came from here. And I just this day came across something which I found actually very well put, coming especially from the source it is coming from. This lady, Deborah Lipsky, was a Satanist, so she knows what she's talking about. And 2 years after her return to grace and the fullness of Catholic faith, she gives these testimonies in book form, and it's kind of serious stuff. Someone once said, "I've been there." Now this person is talking about one specific issue in this section of the book. The whole book is about the influence of Satan, but this one attacks one specific point and hits hard. It's the ultimate victory of Satan in suicide. And by the way, it's because this is never talked about that he has easy access to the use of our day. It's a valid alternative, and given a great send-off. So I'll just quote 1 or 2 things from here because she says it all. All life is a gift from God, and to take one's life prematurely is stealing that gift away from him. Now, by the way, not that long ago, I had at 7 o'clock in the morning, some young people with me, and this young person came out with this. They had just been watching the previous night a documentary, I believe on RTE, on NDE, near-death experiences. And these people who had come back describing what they had seen. But all of them, to a man, added this, apparently. They were all given to understand that no matter how blissful and peaceful this state seemed to be, you could not cheat on it to get it. But you say what that's point coming from people of no faith, that's very interesting, because to have said that in public after coming back means that they knew what they were talking about. Again, I've been there. It says a lot also about problem solving through that solution. Maybe it doesn't solve quite as much as we think. Killing yourself. Now he gives this case here of people who might be haunted by guilt complexes. Again, not coming to Calvary. But the devil can actually use guilt, believe it or not, to accelerate that. It's kind of Judas complex. Feeling there is no place for you in this world is both unnecessary and needless. And this is kind of contemporary. Probably we've all got people who are, even now, sort of that way inclined. In fact, I dread again now to send a text to somebody I've been following recently, because I know that she was seriously thinking of it. And no matter what one says, if one is bent on something, one usually finishes by accomplishing it. One sometimes actually finds people coming to a priest wanting, as it were, a blessing before doing it. The ultimate victory, listen to this, for a demon, is to watch us, now this is the way she puts it in American English, self-destruct because of his lies and not God's truths. Now remember that we only seek the apparent good. We seek what we think to be good. That can be what's happening in suicide if one analyzes. Suicide requires free will, because no matter how hopeless a situation may seem, it is still a voluntary choice. God offers us life, while Satan offers us death. Suicide means accepting Satan's lies as absolute truth. Now this one is a gem. Death by suicide is a demon's ultimate trophy. Every time a lost soul dies by their own hand, the demon stands over that corpse, looks up to God, and flips him the middle finger in defiance. If this last statement sounds vulgar and offensive, then I have given you the most accurate visual possible. Today, going through my archives, I found this. You probably can't see what it is from where you are. You might guess. You got it?
Very, very sensitive.
It's the actual original. I thought it had actually been lost in the process of doing some big operation in the monastery. But Frère Dominique got hold of it again. So this is the original, because I had in the meantime got hold of a copy, having paid for it, from Cardiff. But it's there, and it's quite interesting, because time has stood still here. You've got my mother's maiden name, you've got my father, and you've got actually his post, ask you for what he's doing, teacher, grammar school, the address is there, and so on. And then you've got the place of birth, St David's Hospital, and so on, and the date. Now, the point is this: when a birth certificate is issued, one has on this sheet written, "One go." And at the end of it, there's a gap, just a box, tick or cross. Did he get there or not? All the rest, all the rest.